I'm Wes Bryant of the ACC Digital Network, and I'm here with my man Casey Honigbaum of the Big 12 Studios. And we're talking about TCU and North Carolina. Very intriguing matchup. These teams have played 3 times, but haven't played since 1997. And we know that TCU, a team not too long ago that was in the college football playoffs, but they'll be walking into what I think will be a madhouse, as it is Bill Belichick's first game as the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels.
So it's going to be one of those games where, it's almost the stuff happening off the field is going to be more important coming into this matchup. And for those that don't know, TCU might not carry some of the historical prestige that a lot of the ACC teams have, but this is one of the most storied franchises since the year 2000. You mentioned it's been before 2000 since these teams have played, but 11 win seasons for TCU since then.
Yeah, and so North Carolina, they're going to be looking to start the season on a winning track because they've lost 4 of their last 5 games at Kenan Stadium. So they're definitely going to have to change that. Key matchups for this one, and for North Carolina, it's hard to tell because they have 70 new players on this roster. So really, I'm looking for intangibles with this crew. I'm looking for physicality. He brings a toughness to them. He brings a preparedness to them. So there are a lot of things that I'm going to be looking for with this crew that you might not be able to see on paper.
Yeah, I want to call out also, you mentioned Bill Belichik, obviously, and he's known for being a defensive-minded head coach. His son, Steve Belichik, is the defensive coordinator, and he did a great job at Washington coaching the DBs and that back second unit of the defense. And that was TCU's strength last year, where their wide receivers. Obviously, they've lost a couple of those guys to the NFL, but I think it's almost a strength on strength right now. And TCU was not a team that could run the ball very well last year. So if they can add some of that into their game, it's going to be interesting to see how, UNC's defense kind of combats that.
All right, so when we start to look at some of the numbers, again, with North Carolina, pretty tough to do that because there's so many new guys and so many new guys that will be starting. But when you look at a kid that's going to be dependent upon, and you talk about numbers telling the story, losing a running back in Amarion Hampton that rushed for 1,700 yards last year. He's one of the best ever in the ACC, in my opinion. Davion Gauss, they call him Bullet, is going to be the guy that's going to replace him. Now, he had over 300 yards rushing last year, and he's a guy that everybody around Chapel Hill is talking about could be the next great back for them. He was a 4x100 kid in high school, so you know that the speed is there. That's why they call him Bullet. And so he's going to have a big role to play to replace one of the ACC's all-time greats.
Yeah, and switching over to TCU, it's a lot of the same. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but when you look at the wide receiving core, losing Jack Besh and Savion Williams, those were the 2 main keys in that passing game for Josh Hoover, who took a huge step last year at quarterback. But the name I want to focus on is Eric McAllister. He had a role last year, 39 catches, 762 yards, but he's stepping into that wide receiver 1 role this year. And I think the really interesting thing to look at, 35 of his 39 targets went for either a first down or a touchdown. So Josh Hoover is not necessarily losing a guy who he could go to get a bucket. He's still got that guy on the team.
My impact player for this game, Gio Lopez, to me, he was a big get out of the transfer portal out of South Alabama. And he's a kid that likes to push the ball down the field, and he can hurt you with his feet. 41% of his passes last season went for over 20 yards, and he was 67% against the blitz. So this is a kid that's looking to get onto the bigger stage, really looking to prove himself. He's got that short, kind of squatty, thick body that when he's running, he can punish guys as well. He doesn't shy away from contact.
The Big 12, it's kind of the year of the quarterback is kind of the theme here, and there is no one that fits into that conversation better than Josh Hoover. 3,949 yards passing. That was a school record to go along with 27 touchdowns. And at the beginning of the year, he was turning the ball over a little bit, but once they stopped that offense was able to, they really got going. And obviously I mentioned some of the guys that they lost, but Eric McAllister, who's going to be their number 1 wide receiver, most likely going into the season, especially in this game, averaged almost 20 yards per catch. So if they can keep that up against this secondary, it's going to be interesting.
When you go beyond the box score in this game, for me, it is very simple. It's all about the coach because he's bringing the juice to this matchup. North Carolina sold out all of their tickets for this season because of this man. This place, in my opinion, it's going to be the best home environment that Carolina has ever had for an opening game. They are chomping at the bit to get going here. And as I said earlier, Bill Belichik, he's forgotten more in the last 10 minutes than we'll know about football. This guy shut down Montana and the Niners. He shut down the greatest show on turf. He's such a strategic kind of master.
Yeah.
He is a guy that can put together game plans, and he tailors it every single week. Beyond the box score, it's all about Belichick, what he's going to bring to this team as far as their preparedness, their strategies, and him putting these guys in the best positions to win.
Yeah, and I think going off of that is a lot of the keys for TCU as well. Bill Belichick is going to coach this defense to be physical because that's what all of his defenses were in the NFL. So I think for TCU, being able to match that is going to be the most important part. That physicality, especially up front in the trenches, wasn't necessarily their strong suit last year. So I think being able to add a little bit more of that, they're getting some of their offensive line back that they lost last year. They've got some returners coming in this year. So I think having that is going to be one of the most important elements to this game because, you know this better than anyone. Football is won in the trenches. And I think for a game like this, in an environment like North Carolina, TCU is going to have to bring that. The game's going to be won in the trenches.
Make sure that you tune into this one because it is going to be a phenomenal matchup to open the season. Bill Belichick's first game, you're going to be a part of history, getting to see his first ever matchup in an environment that I think will be absolutely magnetic. So make sure you keep it locked and see who comes out on top.